Reform UK proposes freeze on immigration by Jennifer McKiernan. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? I'm back in business after a week, sweating my bits off in Florida. For some reason, people go on holiday to a swamp in the middle of summer. Makes no sense to me, but that's British people on holiday, isn't it? This was a good story to pick for a return to form because it was in Wales. That's where he's campaigning today. And Wales, more than anywhere else in the UK, is evidence of what happens if you incorporate socialist policies and encourage people not to work. Encouraging people not to work is like encouraging people not to go to the gym. You're getting people to do the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do if they want to be happy and healthy and wealthy in life. And those of you that saw my discussion with Van Man Talks on Absolute Bedlam's podcast are probably aware that essentially I said the exact same thing. The number one policy that is most responsible for the collapse in your quality of living in the last 25 years is immigration. It's nothing else. And it's tied to everything else. I do think the people that say otherwise are a little bit mental. Like they cannot see the woods for the trees. They talk as if funding's the only issue, as if the NHS hasn't had its funding hugely increased every single year of the last 25. You know what I mean? As if the only problem's money. No, the only problem is you've moved millions of people in. And that's why I could get a doctor come round my house 25 years ago as soon as I called one. And now you're more likely to get Jesus walk into your front room and try to heal you if you've got leprosy, which also, by the way, you can get now. Because a lot of people with communicable diseases have made their way to the UK. There's diseases going around in the UK now that Jesus would shit his pants if he saw. He'd be like, whoa, hang on, I'm not putting my hands on that filthy bastard. It's the single biggest issue that we should be worrying about, and that's why I'm talking about it. So I'll read you this story. I'll link to another one, which has got some cold, hard facts about Wales, and then I'll sum up, shall I? Easy. Nigel Farage has said the 2024 general election should be the immigration election, as he launched his party's proposals in South Wales. The Reform Party leader said he wanted to see a freeze on non-essential immigration, which he blamed for NHS waiting lists and the housing crisis, saying other parties would rather not discuss it. Which he blamed. Which common sense and logic blames, because the public services funding has only ever gone up, and spending on the NHS has gone up to the tune of tens of billions every single year for the last 20. So don't tell me it's anything else. It's not a funding issue. It's a people issue. A child could see this. We do not have an infinite number of space, but there are 6 or 7 billion hairy-ass blokes who would crawl across broken glass to get a free council house in North Yorkshire. Well, not anywhere near Middlesbrough. That's the one town they actually see out the bus station window and then beg to go back to Saddam's torture chamber. But most of them are happy to get out for nout. Seeking to differentiate his plans from Labour and the Conservatives, he insisted the document he unveiled in the bar of a community centre was not a manifesto but a contract. If I say to you manifesto, your immediate word association is lie. Yes, very true. Acknowledging that Reform was a new party, he said they were not aiming to form the government but instead work towards a potential 2029 victory. Our ambition is to establish a beachhead in Parliament and become a real opposition to a Labour government. 5 core pledges in the manifesto, and these are the good ones, include a freeze on all non-essential immigration and the deportation of people crossing the channel in small boats. Reform also wants to scrap net zero targets, get in, aimed at tackling the climate crisis by minimising planet warming emissions, and instead turn to fossil fuels with a promise to unlock the UK's oil and gas reserves. Pledges also include leaving the European Convention on Human Rights and cutting taxes by about £90 billion a year. Well, he's barking up the right tree. He is barking right up my tree there. Biggest issue addressed straight off the bat. It's immigration. Everything's downhill of it. Low wages for working class people, immigration. No NHS beds, immigration. No schools and dentists and doctors, immigration. Crime, immigration. I don't even know what percentage of all the criminals in our legal system currently were born abroad or are the offspring of people born abroad, but I would bet it's at least 50% at this point. You cannot move for stories about it. Today, the first story I seen when I turned on my computer today was some trailblazing Navy bloke from like Samoa or what have you, and they were all singing his praises because he was the first sailor they've ever recruited from there. And the next thing, he's sticking Rohypnol in birds' drinks and donkeying one into them in the alleys around Portsmouth. I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up. So it's the biggest issue. And if you don't think it's the biggest issue, you can't do basic mathematics. Oh yeah, and to finish on that story about Wales, Farage is right. Wales is an utter disaster. After 25 years of Labour rule, there is little hope left. What, encouraging people not to go to work and sit on the settee drinking cans of special brew and talking about getting money for baby? Well, that doesn't do them a lot of good, no? No, it doesn't make them like happier and healthier and give them a sense of purpose, like going to work does. You do surprise me. I'd have thought 25 years on benefits would make you, cartwheeling off the couch. I'm going to run a 10-miler, and then I'm going to read some Plato and a bit of Aristotle, and then I'm going to paint some marvellous pictures, and I'll do some charity work for a couple of hours. Yeah, did that work for Mick Philpott, did it? 20 years on benefits, what did it do for him? All it made him do was shag half a dozen absolute howlers and multiply like a wet gremlin in the swimming pool. Again, I don't understand why I need to talk about this. We've got decades of evidence. We know what the social welfare system's done. We know what encouraging people not to work does to the mental and physical health. You think you don't want to go to work because you think you'd rather eat donuts than get on a treadmill. But going to work is good for your mental and physical health. It gives you a sense of purpose. It's good for your routine. It's good to get you out the house and socialising with people. If you just give people enough money to sit on the fat arse 7 days a week, you're basically killing them with kindness. So why is this still happening? Why do we enable it? The Welsh economy shrunk by 1% since 2018, while England has grown by 2%. Its productivity rate is lower than in most other regions, and its schools are the worst in the UK. A third of children are living in poverty. The pandemic response was over the top more than anywhere else. A tourist tax is going to be imposed on overnight visitors who will find themselves clobbered in the name of fairness. All but 3 Welsh councils have introduced tax premiums on second or empty homes. And against all this competition is the way that Welsh Labour has trapped its citizens in a cycle of dependency and welfare, which is most disgraceful. The economic inactivity rate in Wales is worse than any other region of the UK. Even Middlesbrough. Look at that, 31% in Neath and Port Talbot. Redcar's only 28. Finally, the people of Redcar have won something. Oh no, hang on. Oh no. Middlesbrough. I was counting me chickens there. Middlesbrough's still nearly the worst. 327 out of 330. Bastard. Finally, I thought Wales beaten us at something. But alas, we pipped them at the post. The borough pipped them at the post, as you might expect. But anyway, the point is being made. Farage is bang on the money. Immigration is the single biggest factor in what is poisoning our society, and Wales are getting exactly what they deserve for being daft enough to vote for the Socialists for 30 years. Well done, lads. And funnily enough thing, I bet that's what the borough's been voting for the last 50 years as well, because if there's a town with more fat, brain-dead, glue-sniffing chavs in it than Borough, I've never been. And they've been hardcore Labour voters for certainly all of my life. So there you go, the proof's in the pudding. Go places where they don't all vote for Socialists, like Harrogate, yeah? I don't even need to look it up. I can just name them from walking through them. Go places like Harrogate. The statistics are a lot better because the people there don't support policies that involve paying fat people to eat mayonnaise on the settee all day. I mean, it's not really rocket science, is it? Or is it? That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm just a lunatic. Maybe encouraging people to be big, fat, lazy chavs is a good thing. And it's good for the mental and the physical health and to definitely live long and happy lives. Thanks to you, Jezza, Tarquin and Guinevere, or whatever your name is, Guardian Reading Soy Boys. Thanks to you, you're helping people live longer, happier lives. Well done. Okay, that's my piece. Let me know what you think of Reform's manifesto. I will link it in full down there. And thanks for watching. I'm back in business and I'll see you all tomorrow. Total pip. Cheers.